Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen podcast with me, BoredGamer, and the lovely Zinnia. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
It's early April. We're the beginning of April now, 2022. There's a few things I want to talk about today, including the new MISC ship, the MISC Expanse, the first wave of Alpha 3.17, because there's lots going on with that, Cloud Imperium's Triggerfish April Fool's stuff, and then things we've got to look forward to in April, and I suppose kind of leading into May as well, just because if we've got time, I do want to talk about Fleet Week. So let's start with the MISC Expanse, that ship, that new concept ship that's been talked about a bit on an Inside Star Citizen, but we haven't got a sales page yet. We haven't got anything like that. Have you seen the Expanse in? Obviously, you watch Inside Star Citizen, so I assume you have.
Yeah. I mean, it's a concept. You only get images. So, yeah, I like it when they've got a ship that they like, yeah, we've got this ship coming, and it's like, here's the ship.
Yeah, and they've half done it, or at least it's in engine, they can fly it about, they can show you off a bit more. So at the moment, this is this sort of a very early concept where we don't have a sales page for the ship. We don't have a brochure for the ship or anything. We just have a little bit of what they talked about. So there's going to be a certain amount of expectation versus what's actually coming with it. And yeah, so the Expanse is that mobile refinery ship that we've sort of been rumoured to have or been talking about for quite a while now. It's a entry-level sort of refinery ship is the idea, and that it takes minables, refinables, refines them, and then can deposit them. So it's got this sort of same bags, the saddle bags that the Prospector has. I believe it can probably pick them up, probably detach them, and then refine them, drop them off for another ship to take. Now, when it comes to gameplay loops do you like the idea of this level of you have a miner go in, you have a prospector going in, and then an Expanse can turn up, grab his saddlebags, refine it, and then give it to a cargo ship? Is that the sort of process that you want for a gameplay loop, or do you think it's just adding extra faff?
I think it would be great for clans and stuff. I don't see many individual players getting one of these and going around, hey, do you want your minables refining? They'll do it while you're mining. I don't see that's happening. That's
a really good point, actually. These are great if you already have some of the infrastructure to do the other bits. If you don't have a miner or you don't have a cargo ship to really make use of the sort of full loop, then why would you go for something in the middle?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I mean, I do think there are going to be specialist orgs that go, yeah, what we do is we grab all your minables and refinables and we refine them for you, put them on cargo ships, take them off and deal with them. All you need to worry about is mining.
It would be interesting if they, as with the Starfarer, where you can request fuel and then pay for fuel, you could possibly come along with your Expanse and pay for the minables, the mined ore, and then you refine them.
Oh, so actually that's a good point. So so you're thinking that maybe we'll be able to buy ore directly off miners there and then refine it, or vice versa. Maybe we pay the Expanse to refine our ore as a miner. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we do need some robust contracts and some robust service beacons expanding out what we can do in the game. And if you have that, then that would be cool. Then yeah, that would give people that want to just have an Expanse to run that as a service many more things to do. Yeah, okay, I like that idea. I hope that is the way they do, because they talk about the Expanse being an entry-level refining ship, so I hope there is enough for just a solo player that wants one of these to do things with them. And but I do think that is, as we said, a worry. So the ship has these 6 reactors as well. So it's got these 8 saddlebags, which we think are probably the same size as the Prospector ones. But then it's got these 6 reactors, and each of these reactors can run their own process for refining. But you can have all those processes focused on a single refining task if you wanted.
Yeah.
It's really hard to work out the scale and scope and times involved with refining. And how quick and easy and useful is this ship compared to taking the minables back to a station and getting them refined there?
Obviously, was it certain stations specialise in certain things and will give you better outputs, won't they?
Yes.
So is this going to be a sort of general baseline for everything?
Well, maybe the processes that the reactors do are the choices of how efficient it is for certain materials.
And also the speed, because it can take hours at a refinery to get all your stuff done. How long is it going to take in your Expanse?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? So this sort of stuff, we don't know enough about the gameplay for the mobile refineries yet to know how it's all going to work. Also, there's something else I don't know. Like if someone in the comments section wants to fill me in or tell me what they think, is this just going to be for ore and minables, or is it also going to be for fuel and liquids? Can the Expanse take gas and fuel and stuff like that and refine it further? Or is it just going to be for the other bits? So that's an interesting one as well that I don't really know. From what people were saying, it takes raw ore. But they also said that the Starfarer was a specialist fuel ship, but this benefits for not being specialist. So that suggests to me that it probably can do some fuel refining, maybe. Like, there's not enough stuff explained yet for us to know for sure.
They probably don't even know what it's going to do yet.
Well, hopefully they do. They do talk about sometimes their technical design documents, which they don't release in the same way anymore, because they do let it evolve. They do they do iterate on it, and yeah, as you said, they don't necessarily know where it's going to go. They don't necessarily know all of the ins and outs of it anymore. So it's an interesting one. I like the idea of the ship. As I said, there's some worries about what it can and can't do for a solo player. But as part of a group, as part of an operation, I think these may be invaluable, but it is going to be based on their times for refining and all that sort of jazz. Are you going to be getting ones in?
Probably not.
No? Not a fan? You like more medical rescue gameplay and stuff like that?
Yeah. I'm a have my Apollo, mate.
Okay, yeah. Do the Apollo. Maybe get an Endeavour as well and have the hospital Endeavour and have some ambulances running out there. Well, I've got an Endeavours in, so... We'll run it as
I've got an Endeavour.
Look at me. I've spent $3,000 in the game. That's me. It's not that much, actually. Now I come to think about it, over the several years, I've covered Star Citizen. Oh, beautiful Star Citizen. I love ye. Anyway, Alpha 3.17, Wave 1. It's in Wave 1's in.
Finally here.
Well, is it, though? Because I spent 2 hours locked in various landing zones trying to get into my Halle the other day.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of New Babbage at all. I wanted to go visit the river, and I couldn't spawn any ships, and I got to the point where I was like, maybe I should just walk it. How long would it take me to walk from New Babbage to the river?
I think we said about 10 hours from where you were.
Well, you guessed about 10 hours. If people's coordinates or like descriptions are correct, it's about 440 kilometers away.
Yeah. But you got there in the end. You found the river.
No. I'd found the river previously. I was going to go visit it again to get some more footage.
Okay, yeah. So it's one of the things that we have an issue with in Ivocati. Obviously, we can't capture footage even when we have a nice stable-ish build or whatever. But when we get Wave 1 PTU, or just generally during the PTU phase, sometimes that patch does not want to play ball when you want to capture footage. It just goes, you can't leave an area. And at the moment, the patch is hugely unstable. And Cloud Imperium are very aware of that. They said, look, it's unstable. We need to get a load of stress test feedback, and we're fixing these bugs as you're playing. So don't worry about leaving feedback for that. But if you play, it gives us a load of extra data to help with these fixes. But yeah, it's terribly unstable. And I'm not talking about crashes. I'm talking about the inability to spawn ships, the inability to leave areas like landing zones, that sort of thing. So... accessibility to play. Have you had much in the way of crashing or anything like that as well?
No, I had a bit of frame lag, like lots of dropping frames and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Infinite loading screens was something I had. Oh.
Yeah, so the time that I couldn't spawn any ships, eventually the elevator doors disappeared to the hangars. So I thought, I'll just throw myself out the door, and then died and then couldn't respawn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Star Citizen is sometimes a harsh mistress, especially during PTU waves. But you got to the river. What do you think? Was it pretty? Was it just like a wet road?
I got to the river previously. So when it first went to PTU, I hopped on and found the river. And it's all right. It's a bit underwhelming, you know?
It's a river.
Yeah.
It's river. It's a little bit pretty, but it's river. It needs some more work.
Yeah, I mean, like, so there's no animation, like, so there's no animations of really walking in water, like any sort of, it's just like walking normally. It doesn't really react to your body. It also seemed to just go through a load of rocks. There's just like a big boulder in the middle of the river, and the river doesn't seem to have any issue with it being there. It just still goes.
Okay, so there's a lot more work there that needs to be done. Hull A. You've seen the Hull A yet?
I haven't seen it in person.
Okay,
I've seen lots of pictures and videos.
It was released in this sort of little updates to the Wave 1 PT with the L patch. And yeah, it's a 64 SCU cargo ship where the spindle can expand and retract. However, it's going to get changed a bit more after we've got the cargo refactor, so it's sort of like, I say placeholder, I don't really mean placeholder. It's a functional cargo ship which is going to get some more addition and functionality and work properly in the future. But you can sort of buy a load of cargo, it attaches it to the spindles, and then you spawn the ship, and you go out. And yeah, it's as simple as that. It looks cool, it's a nice little ship. But it's one of the things I think about the Hull A, especially, is why did they need to have it so that it contracted? This is one of the because it's the smallest of the Hull series, it can land when fully laden. So fully expanded.
I see what you mean, yeah.
So it doesn't need the expanding spindles or the contracting spindles. It can just have the spindles out constantly, because why not? That's just me from the point of view of, if I was manufacturing it, I'd go, what's the cheapest way of manufacturing it?
Yeah. Let's get rid of this, we don't need it.
Yeah.
But I mean, does it fly slower or anything, like when it's got the spindles out? Does it?
That's a good point. Air resistance might be a thing in the future.
Is there any benefit to actually having it collapsible?
It probably will be in the future to some extent. Maybe the thrusters will work a bit better, maybe less air resistance, things like that. Having a smaller profile might be a good idea, because you're harder to hit, things like that. So maybe, but it didn't look like much of a benefit to me. But again, people are more than welcome to correct me. But it does pave the way for the Hull C. They've got morphing physics grids now that work, and they can attach cargo to these spindles. They do need to have larger cargo containers in the game, because otherwise you're going to have ships with thousands of these little boxes. It's one of the things we need the cargo refactor for, that's coming in 3.18. But yeah, it's looking good. Hull A, big milestone in the sort of what they can do with ship tech. What's the other thing I want to talk about? Oh, the Scorpius is delayed. So,
what a surprise.
Well, we sort of guessed it was going to be delayed for a while, because when they talked about it in Inside Star Citizen a little while ago, they said, I think it was Inside Star Citizen, they said they had finished one of its wings and then copied them so that they'd fleshed it out a bit more. And I was like, this is pretty close to 3.17, supposed to go to live, or first wave, whatever. There's no way that ship's making the game when they're still faffing around with its wings. But it's going to apparently be in a 3.17.x patch, so probably Fleet Week 3.17.1. That's my expectation there. Hidden features in 3.17. So this patch was very light when they removed a load of bits from it. They removed persistent hangers and stuff like that, so people were very sad. I was very sad, at least, and I'm people. And the patch looked like it was going to be pretty light, but they kept on adding more and more and more and more little bits to it. Little bits. And there's actually quite a lot there. There's a load of quality of life changes, there's FPS, so weaponry factors, and there's desync stuff, there's the quantum systems here. So this is the sort of early stages of the quanta system, where some goods and commodities like fuel and repair prices are dynamically changing based on what's happening in the game universe, and sort of simulated based on service beacons and combat and how busy areas are. And then those service beacons, their makeup of, well, what are you encountering? Is it security forces? Is it pirates? Is it what type of pirates? And how many there are? Sort of civilian freighters, all that sort of stuff is all sort of simulated in these service beacons as accurately as possible. And the dynamic universe simulation sort of tracks it all and accounts for it. And that is massive for Star Citizen. Other than sort of like server meshing, and then pyro and jump points and things, this is one of my top. We need features ASAP. And suppose the other one, which is very lightly covered in this patch, is physicalized ship components. So this is interesting. So it's not proper physicalized ship components like I want. So in the future, Cloud Imperium are going to have each individual component on a ship as its own physical thing that can be damaged, removed, replaced, all separately. So you don't have health pools on ships anymore. Each of these individual components can be destroyed, disabled. Your ship won't just explode when you have a component reduced to 0 health, but you'll be disabled. You've lost your power plant. You've lost an engine. Eventually, your ship can't fly anymore, or goes into a spiral or whatever. So really interesting stuff there, rather than just your ship explodes. But as a step towards this, they've now gone, well, we're going to have ship components purchasable and sellable on ships, and you can store those components in the inventory of your ship.
Oh, yeah, I did read about that.
So I know that's not the same, but it is a step towards that. They're going, well, actually, these ship components now are tradable, and they can be put in your ship, and they take a relative SU size. So it is a big step towards that, in my opinion, at the very least. And we should see more of that when we have the cargo refactor in 3.18. But just being able to buy and sell them, and knowing that Cloud Imperium are looking at this, it's important.
They're basically physicalizing components. So before, they were just something that sort of existed in the ether. You could take them off your ship and put them on your ship, but they never really were anywhere.
Yeah.
They sort of just lived on your ship manager app.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've been bringing all the ships up to gold standard. So that basically means all the new ships and as they bring up the old ships to the same standard, have like cupboards and buttons that you can open up the cupboards for, and there's a component behind that sometimes, and that's sort of faked. It's a placeholder. I think it's important to talk about physicalized components. It's one of the things that I genuinely love. I generally want them to get in the game ASAP, basically. Are there any other sort of hidden features or lesser features that you heard about, Zin, that you were interested in, or like, oh, this is really cool for 3.17?
No, not really.
And when do you think we're going to get the live build? Sort of, I'm thinking mid-April. Do you think that's fair?
Well, not quarter one, that's for sure.
That's true. We are now in quarter 2.
Yeah.
But we sort of expect that Cloud Imperium tried to release first wave PTU, open PTU by the end of Q1 if possible. So I was expecting an open PTU by the end of March, but obviously that hasn't happened. Yeah, live builds push into the next month typically, but I'm hoping that we see that sort of mid-April, that live build, but it's as and when.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good couple of weeks at least, considering the state of this open PTU.
Yeah, it is unstable, and that's been kind. So let's have a look at Triggerfish, Zins. April Fools. Every year, Cloud Imperium have a little April Fools. We've had the scents of Christiana Roberts, Chris Roberts' sort of body sprays. We've had fish swimming in the hangars. We've had an invisible ship, which probably was the 400i, but invisible, the 404. And this year, we actually have at least 2 April Fools from Cloud Imperium.
At least 2.
At least 2, with a 3.16.2 patch notes and the Mesha app. So should we start with the patch notes?
Yeah, so I've just outlined a few that I thought were quite amusing, but there's so many, I think we should just skip most of them. People can read it themselves.
Yes, it was a lot of silly stuff, like a new mission giver, John Crew, who is obviously John Crew works for Cloud Imperium, and things like that. So there was lots of silly stuff. There was pictures of sandworms. So what have you picked out, Zin?
So Pico has become sentient. Seriously, if anyone in the community is a programmer and can help stop Pico, please contact us quickly.
Poor little Pico. I love the little penguin boy. I think they wanted to. So this is interesting with Pico, because I think they wanted to make Star Kitten. They wanted people to have that as the sort of sidekick of the game, but Pico just seems to have taken over.
I think Pico's probably easier to model.
Yeah, and probably less IP sort of rip-off
Yes.
Of Hello Kitty. But that's fine. So what else have we got? We've got new clothing items that players can rent instead of buying. Initial implementation limited to shirts and jackets only. These 90-day tops can be found wherever fashionable trends are sold.
See, I didn't get that at first because I was out of the loop, and then I read the comments, and yeah, it's a meme basically.
90-day tops, nice. So people that don't know, that is a meme when Star Citizen was being talked about as if it was a scam from some media outlets and some other developers going, 90-day tops before they run out of money and everything collapses into a scam. And that was several years ago. Oh, that's a good reference. I like Cloud Imperium being self-aware. That makes me happy. What else have we got, Sin?
Arena Commander Big Benny Challenge. Relive the wonder years of the persistent universe of the past. Players must locate and transport the only Big Benny's machine that can move back to their spawn hab using nothing but roll animations, determination, and a lot of patience. Spend 10 hours wondering what you're doing and why.
So that's not that much of a joke, because people have done that quite a lot.
I mean, that is much of a joke, because people have done that.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
People have done that a lot. There was a Big Benny's challenge. A lot of streamers used to do it as well. Nice reference. The barista feedback was so... wow. Oh, coffee shop vendor, wow. The barista feedback was so overwhelming that we've decided to add a coffee shop to all landing zones and stations. Again, probably not a joke.
It's coming.
It is coming. All sinks have been removed from the game in order to attempt to fix desync.
Yep.
Oh, the puns. What else have we got in?
After discovering players are making too much money at the Jumptown Dynamic event, we've decided to balance the economy by reintroducing the Error 30k, resulting in lower profits for all players.
Nice. So it appears to be a list of Cloud Imperium being self-aware and nodding at previous sort of memes and things and going, you know what? Let's take the piss out of ourselves. This is good. New ship, Cutlass Purple. That's the disco one that Disco Lando wanted. Okay.
And they've added tracking devices to all Origin 404s to help avoid pilots from losing their ships.
Well, that's the invisible joke ship from last year.
Yeah, so previously they had people who would basically camp on your ship so that you could find it again because it's invisible. But now they've got trackers.
Oh god, it's so silly. I like some April Fools. They didn't try to hide this one. Those patch notes appeared on Facebook for me when I was a little bit hungover. I was like, what? 3.16.2 patch note release? Is this from what? It was the day after April Fools as well, so I was a bit confused. We also had a new app for the Moby-Glass, Mesher, which is the sort of other April Fools they ran, which was a dating app on the Moby-Glass where you could upload your profile for your character and then go find some singles such as a Banu concept person or Miles Eckhart. I mean, I didn't really read much into it.
It's amusing, but I thought it was. I actually preferred the patch notes a lot more than this.
Yeah, I think the thing is that Mesher could literally be a thing though in the Star Citizen universe.
Yeah,
it's all relatively believable. Armin and Stan. Oh wow, it's literally a little symbiote on the face of a man as a dating profile. Nice.
Well, no, it's both of them.
It's both of them.
It's both of them.
It's all silly stuff. Typically, when you clicked on the links on pages with this, you'd get a badge, like an April Fool's badge. I didn't see that with this one. I didn't see getting a Mesher badge or getting an April Fool's badge this year, unless I'd already had the previous ones and they just re-released the previous one or something. I don't know. So please tell me if you did find a April Fool's badge from clicking the links or whatever. But yeah, it's a cool little thing for April Fools. I do like they do it every year. I suppose other April things is what I want to talk about briefly. So we're expecting 3.17.0 live at some point this month, hopefully middle of the month. But as I said earlier, it's literally dependent on if they can get the bug fixes in and how well the patch goes. We are going to start to see a load of info on 3.18 and Q2 stuff. So stuff happening over the next few months.
But it is Q2.
It is Q2 now. So, but it's going to be the Q2 cycle. It's the Q2 patches. It's the 3.18. The cargo refactor we're going to see a lot of that sort of stuff. Salvage. We'll see a load of different stuff on salvage, and then all the other features in 3.18 that we don't know about yet that have sort of been obscured from us. So really looking forward to that. But to me, it's all leading up to something very exciting in May, which is at the end of the May, we get Fleet Week. That's much more important to me than what's happening in April, really. Is there anything in April you're looking forward to, Zin, that you can think that might be happening?
My best friend's wedding.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to Zin's best friend and one of my mates' wedding. I'll be giving a speech, but it's going to be good. So towards the Easter weekend, we're going to be away.
Yeah.
So there might be a little couple of days disruption on the channel because important real life stuff. So looking forward to that. We've got a little bit of a hiatus from Inside Star Citizen until the end of April.
Feels like they've only just come back.
Yes, it does. Now, that is the first quarter of every year with Star Citizen is slow. They come back sort of after Christmas, like at the end of January sometimes, and then there's a sort of, it's a bit of a slow ramp up, and then there's at the sort of like towards the end of March, a patch sort of starts to come out. So there's a bit of fatigue, there's a bit of a drought of a lot of stuff. And then as we move into Q2, stuff starts to speed up, and then obviously towards the end of the year, that's when there's lots of sort of Star Citizen content and loads of events and stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Star Citizen is a beautiful game, but sometimes a harsh mistress, and has a weird sort of patch and a weird cycle of when you've got content and when you haven't, and bits of droughts. But yeah, that's really it for what we want to talk about in today's podcast. I hope you're enjoying 3.17.1 if you have, 3.17, in fact, Wave 1, if you have access. Should be out to wider PTU in the coming weeks. As I said, at the moment, it's very unstable, but the more you play, the more data you give to Cloud Imperium. I'm also interested to know, are you excited about the MISC Expanse? Or are you like, so other people are going to be doing that, it's going to be interesting, maybe I'll go rob them when they're doing that. Did you fall for any of the April Fool stuff? I think it's unlikely that people fell for it this year, but maybe you went, what? What's going on? It's April 3rd, what's Mesha? Or something like that. Thanks for watching. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
You take care. We'll be covering all of the April stuff all over April, because that's what we do. Love you guys. See you in the vest. Peace. I was feeling tired and sluggish. I found out that I was allergic to adverts and malware in 2022, which means I can't use the internet. If only there was a service that could help. Wait, there is! NordVPN.com/BoredGamer! It's NordVPN that I use, and it blasts away a load of my advert and malware-based concerns, while allowing me to freely explore the internet. Maybe I want to be in the USA today, and pretend that I'm an American. What's this? Now I'm down under in the Australias? Wait, now I'm in the UK. Okay, I live there. That is less impressive. NordVPN has done so much for me. Sign up with the links below or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For April 2022, we're giving away an Origin 400i. It's a luxury exploration and touring ship, which will be great for a small crew wishing to explore the stars or try out a multitude of other gameplay. It's like a little yacht in space, a little piece of luxury. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win that is comment on any of my videos made during April 2022. More details in the description below. If you wish to further support the channel, consider clicking the join button under my videos to become a channel member or even become a Patreon. That goes a massive way in helping with our day-to-day videos and gives you a variety of little exclusives as well. But it should just make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Join today! Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if so inclined, and I'll see you in the verse.